Got to unmute myself first. I was checking my sound and I'm like, I'm muted. Welcome to Saturday's Live. Let's try that again. Thanks. Thanks, Brooklyn. I just realized it. I was like, why does my sound say that it's muted? Wow. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. How's everybody's weekend? You're tardy. Summer, you're on vacation. You're not tardy. You're fine. Did you end up beating Justin last night at golf? I don't know if I asked you that or not. I hope you did. Yeah, you're fired, Summer. She's like, wait a minute. I do this for free, guys. I do this out of the kindness of my heart. But hey to everybody. I'm gonna go up in the chat and say hey to everybody tonight because it's Saturday, you know, and sometimes I miss some y'all. Look at that. Legendary's been a member for 3 months. What is that? Is that a cow? Whatever it is, it's cute. What is that? Is that a cow? Look at Legendary in here first thing. And Lady J was in here too. And Nancy and Julie. Hi, everybody. Leisha's in here. Kathy and Laura. My hair's falling out there. Isabel. Miss Isabel. Brooklyn. Well, I feel super shiny today. I can see my face. I'm super shiny. Spitting rain and thunder and lightning there. I think it's going to, oh, wait. It was supposed to rain here all day. And it didn't. I hate when it says it's going to rain. But I think that might have been what happened, Cheryl, with your post. It might have been that. So yeah, I think that's what it was, Cheryl. Yeah, and I didn't remove anything because I don't even know. I mean, I know how, but I never do because I'm never quick with that stuff because it's never usually anything like that, you would say, like, to where I'd have to take it off. So I think you're good. We love Cheryl because we would like be searching for you if you weren't here, Cheryl. Nancy said, don't go. I love that. And Brooklyn was like, you're muted, girl. Pickle Me Elmo. I love that name. Man, do you remember when Tickle Me Elmo was at like the toy for the season? It was like, what, 21 years ago? 20 years ago, I would say now. That's a long time. Hi, Suzanne, and hey, Glowbug, and I saw someone else. Amanda. Hey, Amanda. But yeah, and I'm seeing other people. I swear I am. But Aqua Teal. If I miss you, I'm sorry. I'm blind in the one eye. And I'm scrolling fast. Hey, Julie. If I say your name twice, you never know. Hey, Mindy. Hey, J-Lo. We got J-Lo in the chat. Rising from Ashes. Hello. Reese. We got a bunch of people in here tonight. Cheryl Graham. We got another Cheryl. Look at that. I love that. Eris Pork. She's in here. We're in here tonight. Evening to everybody. St. Jenny. I love this. I love a big full house. I love that. I did take some notes and then I forgot to print them out. So we're just going to kind of go with tonight's live. We're just going to go with it. You know how we roll around here sometimes. We've got Nancy in the back corner now. We made her a little home over there. She is like the plants just kind of decorating her. But whenever I do like my Nancy podcast or whatever, if we like listen to a Nancy video, I'll bring her up. I think I need to put my, I have my webcam here. I think I need to hook this up and have like a Nancy cam. Like a Nancy cam going like all the time. It'd be pretty funny. So I was going to show you guys actually before we get started, just a funny thing about that. About Nancy. So if you didn't get to catch it yet, I'll show it to you. I thought it'd be kind of funny to start the live off with a Mia, a little bit of a Mia video. It's a little short. It's like a short video. I just posted it. So this is how Mia introduced herself to Nancy the other day. My dog's terrified of Nancy. She's terrified. So you can hear me giggling in the background, but I tagged Nancy in this, like all over it on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. So hopefully she'll see it. Also, nobody's told me before, every time I come on to do a video, I say, hey guys, every video I have on here. I was laughing at myself. So I think that's my phrase. Isn't Mia cute, little bug? She's the cutest. She really is. She's so scared of life. I'll play it real quick, though.
When Nancy Grace shows up at your house.
Her hair is sticking up, too. Who is that, Mia? Who is that? Yeah. You don't like Nancy? You don't like her?
When Nancy Grace
That's the closest that Mia's gotten to Nancy too. So that would be cute. First t-shirt merch, Tanya. She said that's funny, Mindy. That's so true too. Because like she would make the best merch. Speaking of merch, do you want to hear something before about it's Idaho 4 related? Guess who has merch? If you could think of somebody in the Idaho 4 case, like just that's come about, who do you guys think would have merchandise? I'll give you a hint. He's a chef that edits Facebook post. Yep, Glowbug Enan. Yep. I heard that today and I about fell over in Kroger. I was in the store. I was at the store. I was like, well, BK, I mean, I would be surprised, but that would be a good, that might be actually, he could sell some merch to his girlfriends and probably pay for his attorneys. But Enan, yeah, how'd y'all know that? Y'all knew Enan? I was like, what? Who would buy that? Who would buy that? I will go out and I will, before you all buy a Enan Harsh t-shirt, I will go buy a Cricut or a steam press and I will make you an Enan Harsh t-shirt. I just can't believe it. BB Hope said, poor Mia, she doesn't know what to make of Nancy. She doesn't understand she's not real. She's terrified of people. My dog's terrified of people and dogs. It's pretty funny, actually. She's so sheltered. She's very, very, very sheltered dog. So that's why we have to kind of make fun of her here. I know I want some Ann Taylor merch. We could do some like before, like, how she's kind of progressed in her like looks and styles. We could do that. Who would buy the giggle shirt? I don't know, Simpson. I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. I wonder how much they're going for. Because you know how you get on, like, okay, I never understood this, but you'll get on like YouTube. I don't know where I'm on YouTube. I don't know where the YouTube creators, where they buy their merch, but it's always like pretty expensive, I always feel like. And it doesn't really look like good quality. But have you guys ever bought merch off of a YouTube channel? Let me know if it's good or not. Because if I ever do sell merch, I would buy my own shirts and like I have something in my head. Hey KK. Yeah, no, I have something in my little head going. So I have some other little tidbits to go over with you guys too. If you guys wouldn't mind just taking a second to hit that like button, and we're gonna keep on rolling here. I wanted to show you this is kind of what made me think of Mia, and to show you that video first of Mia. So you guys are all aware of there's an update on our TikToker friend. The TikToker Ashley's in the books of life. I think that's what her name is called. She says she's a psychic. And in her psychic tarot readings that she had, multiple readings, she said that the Idaho 4 victims were in fact unalived by Jack DeCore and the professor from the University of Idaho. So the professor has no connections to any of the victims or any of, like, I don't even think Jack DeCore, any of them have a class with her. I don't even know where the TikToker got her name. She probably just looked up, I guess, in the book. But, it went, don't do that. What are you doing? I wanted to play that video, but that's okay. But it just says, like, here, I'll just show this. I'll just read it to you really quick. But a federal judge has dismissed a TikToker's user's counterclaims. So what she did was Rebecca Schofield, the professor, is suing the TikToker for like defamation. Well, Ashley, the TikToker, Ashley Gilliard, decided to countersue. She's not very smart, but a federal judge has dismissed a TikTok user's counterclaims against University of Idaho professor Rebecca Schofield, who sued for defamation when the TikToker accused her of murdering 4 college students last year. Schofield sued Ashley Gilliard when she posted multiple videos on TikTok claiming she discovered through spiritual readings that the professor killed the 4 University of Idaho students in November of 2022 to hide an affair. Her videos received millions of views, and Schofield faced harassment due to the nature of the claims. 28-year-old Brian Koberger was arrested for the killings and expected to face trial in October. Following Schofield's defamation lawsuit, Gilliard issued multiple counterclaims against Schofield, claiming she was silenced by Schofield's attorneys, that Schofield conspired with her attorneys to avoid prosecution in the murders, and that she suffered damages from the publicity of the suit. On Tuesday, Chief U.S. Magistrate Judge Raymond Padrico wrote in his dismissal of Gilliard's counterclaims that the problem with this theory, however, is that there is no objective basis to believe the plaintiff did the things that the defendant publicly and repeatedly claims she did. These claims are not only conclusory and unverifiable, but arguably so outrageous as to be clearly baseless and thus implausible. Because the predict components to defendant's counterclaim against plaintiff lacks any basis. In fact, those counterclaims should not proceed. So maybe we'll see her on TikTok soon. I looked her up to see if she was back on, and she's not. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's Mimi. She said she went to the University of Idaho site. Yeah, and she just picked one out. Yeah, not you. Yeah, of course. Hey, Miss Linda, how you doing? Does anyone know my freaking Apple ID? That's funny. Mine's my my email, I think. Like my email that I use the most of. Like the one I use the most. Okay, so let's see here. What else do I want to show you? I want to show you the new documents too. Before I get into this podcast I found this really good podcast for us to listen to. There's only like one part of it that I don't really prefer, and I'm going to pause it and I'll let you guys know that part. But it's really good. It just came out the other day. So it came out on the 9th. Hey, Lily Black. Hey, Dreamcatcher. Hey, everybody coming in. Hey, Sue Ann. I know I'm missing people, but hey, everybody. Hope I'm not missing anyone. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Let's see. So let's go over here. That's going to be what my first shirt says. Let's see. Or, yeah, that's what I usually say. I say that a lot. Okay. So there was a new document that came out the other day on the 10th. So what's today, the 12th? And it is just an amended notice of hearing. So we already went through the one on the 9th, but we didn't get to cover this one. So I'm just going to read through it real quick. It doesn't look like it's anything like groundbreaking, but we read all the documents here. So I wanted to read this to you. It's just for the state of Idaho versus Brian Kohlberger. I should have color coordinated this for you all. Now I'm mad at myself. I had all that time to do that today. Amended notice of hearing, and it's for August 18th, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. So he already has a court hearing that date anyway. So because he had one on the 12th or the 2nd, and then on the 18th, they took the dates from the motion hearings for the 2nd, and they just moved them to the 18th. It says here, notice is hereby given that Brian C. Kohlberger, by and through his attorney, Ann C. Taylor, public defender, will call on for hearing the below motions in the above entitled matter on 8/18/23 at 10:30 a.m. or as soon thereafter as counsel may be heard in front of the Honorable Judge John Judge. Defendant's third motion to compel filed June 22nd, 2023, and defendant's second motion to stay proceedings filed July 25th, 2023. Counsel for the defendant hereby gives notice of the intent to present oral argument and or testimony in support of said motion. So I guess they're going to present their evidence of, why that they need a stay of proceedings, because that's one of them. And the motion to compel is for the discovery, I believe. But they can't get the discovery if the prosecution doesn't yet have it. But I don't know. Maybe they'll be getting more in, and maybe they can just dump it all over on them. Just like, here you go. Here's all of it. Just give them all of it, Hey, Reba. Yeah, exactly. Make it tough, but make sure we can remember it. I can't mod from a phone either. I can't do anything from a phone. Like if I'm doing YouTube stuff, I'm not very good. You should have saw me in the grocery store today trying to find something to listen to while I was in this grocery store. I'm like, And all the aisles, I was blocking them. I didn't care. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So what else did I want to show you guys? What is this? Oh, this is for a different case. Okay. I'm like, we're going to scoot this over here a little bit. I have some other stuff to show you guys. So let me see here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. You're on a phone, Cheryl, and Jan said I'm on for my phone. Hi, Sharon. How are you guys doing? Does anybody have any questions over this this document? I can look up anything, or if you want me to look up any other documents before we move on. Because what I wanted to do on tonight's live actually was I wanted to go back to the beginning because I've been talking about that for like 4 days. I'm like, let's go back. Let's go back. And then I saw a bunch of thumbnails today saying, we're going back to the beginning. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do the same thing as everyone else. So we're going to go back to the beginning this week. It's going to be like a 50-part series. So, buckle up because it's going to be a good ride. Let me just throw all this stuff off the screen. And I wanted to show this picture again really quick before we get started with the podcast, because I wanted to make sure that everyone knew where this was located. Now I'm going to pull up this other little app. Now, has everyone seen this picture? Because I know I showed it to you guys the other day on the live, but I don't think it was on I don't think it was an Idaho live. I think it was just like at the end of one of our other lives. And I was like, I just need to show you guys this. But a lot of people were thinking that when you're looking, okay, so what this is this is the King Road, like the King Road right there. But instead of this being 1122 King Road, this is the house beside it at 1112 King Road. And I'll show you a picture of it. So it's this one right here, this little blue house. So they do have, and we did a live over it, that light bulb camera, and it's fixated on the front of this house. So it is, looks like that. And it's up here. And it's just positioned right here by the window. So if you're looking at that camera, it's facing outward. So you would be like standing behind it looking outward. It's not going to catch anything that other than noise, like audio of the King Road residence. It won't pick up video because it can't go through the wall, through the house to get the video. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so I'm going to share this again really quick. So this house that's right in front, it's facing with the lights on, and you can see the front door. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. I don't think you can. That house, that isn't the King Road residence. So a lot of people were confused and they thought that this camera was looking straight out into the King Road residence. And I just wanted to clear it up for you guys. So that way, if anyone was confused. So what it is, it's getting this house down here straight down. Let's just go down there. So it's getting this house right here with the blue truck. And then it's blurred out. It's blurred out now, so you can't see it. So it's going, in a straight line towards this house right here. I just saw where a couple people were, they weren't aware where the camera was, I guess, and they thought it was facing the King Road residence this whole time. And when I did my live, I didn't ask anybody if they knew exactly where, like, I mean, I showed you exactly where the camera was and stuff like that, but I should have, like, I don't know, been like better with my words, I guess. Because, I didn't want anyone to be confused. So where'd the pic come from? Wizard Walt, that is, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure on that one. I just know it just showed up. It just showed up. And that's when I was like, oh, we got to do a live over the cameras then, and that's when I went and bought the light bulb camera because I was like, we got to figure it out. I wanted to see. Plus we still have it back there. We never took it down and moved it. We just left it like right where it was. So it'll be there forever because we ain't moving now. They're going to come redo our place. So I just wanted to like, let you guys know that that's where it is. Now, now it's not in this picture, but no, it's up here. I'm wondering if they ended up like taking this trash right here. Because I seen in a few different like news, like on some news like things that I was watching earlier today, that it looked like it was really full. So and I know that they did take some around the city, like they said around that area, but I don't know if they took that one. If you guys know that, that was just a question I had. So if you have that answer, let me know. Oh, that's so funny. Thank you. That's funny. She said at KK. What did KK say? That's so funny. I love that. I love it. That's so funny. I think it's funny. I was just reading the chat a little bit. And it's good to see everybody. Yeah, hit that like button. You guys are all awesome. Thank you for being here. It's going to be a good live. It's going to be pretty eventful. So I do have an idea here. I figured what we'll do is we'll start with this new podcast I have. It's a podcast. So unfortunately, it's not like a video. So what I did was I grabbed pictures and stuff like that. That way you guys will have like a visual to go along with, what they're kind of talking about. And that way you're not just staring at writing on a screen or just staring at me listening to it. But I did listen to this earlier and it was really good. There is one part of this that I don't for the life of me know where he got his information from. But on this podcast episode, Joseph Scott Morgan comes on. And maybe you guys will know this. And maybe I just need to like read it again, read something or see something. I don't know. But Joseph Scott Morgan was saying something to the effect of that Ethan's throat was cut. Now, I don't remember that. I mean, that's not in the PCA. So did anyone else hear that? And did you like, do you know where you saw it? That would it be like reputable? Or is that just something that was in the media? Because I don't know if I remember that one. But he says that in this. And I mean, I just don't know how to take that because I mean, he's pretty good. It is what he does, but everyone makes mistakes, So I just take that part with a grain of salt because he says that, and I was like, what? So Joseph Scott Morgan is the one that said it. He's a guy that he's like ex-police or something, not ex-police, but I don't know what he does. He's on Nancy Grace's podcast all the time. He's does a podcast called Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. TikTok rumors. Because I thought that like I had heard something about throats being cut, but I was like, but I don't remember, so the coroner indicated all four were. Maybe I'll have to go back to the coroner's interview and listen to it. Hey, ALR. Hey, Cats Live. Hey, everybody. Hey, Ida. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Welcome on in, guys. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do the podcast and then I'm gonna look for that. Oh my Lord. No, I don't think she was. I would hope not. That would be terrible. That would be so terrible. He's pretty good. I think Joseph Scott Morgan is not bad. I mean, I usually just watch him when he's on with Nancy Grace. But I mean, he's not bad. He's not bad to listen to or anything. His voice isn't like bad or anything. And he knows he usually knows what he's talking about. Compared to, some of the other people that are on, and he works for like News Nation, or I think he's like correspondent. He helps out with Nancy Grace, and she's on Fox Nation. I mean, I think I said Fox Nation. So, hey, cha chi, and Roseanne, and I thought I saw someone, a harlot. Yeah. That people think the house is money. Yeah, if you actually look, it doesn't even look like it. It's the wrong damn spot. It's hilarious when YouTuber claim that's it. I just knew, I just heard like someone come out and they said they thought that was the house. And then they were doing like a rebuttal video. And I was like, oh my Lord. And I was like, no, seriously, you thought that was the King Roadhouse? My mind was blown. My mind was blown. I was like, no, no, no. Like, because you can see the window in the door. I mean, it gives it away right there too. Like window in the door. I don't know. Just that was the first thing I noticed. But I mean, I knew where the camera was, like in my head, because I've looked at those pictures so many times that I just knew like where the house was. But that's why I was like, maybe I didn't make it clear whenever I came on and did my live. But yeah, that's crazy. Let me see here. I'm gonna throw up one of these banners. See if they'll. Yeah. Okay. I should have some banners for us and stuff. Some like little things to look at. Okay. If you guys wouldn't mind, I'm just gonna have you guys hit the like button one more time before we get started. Is it Renaud? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think I am. I like that name. What are your thoughts on tunnels connecting the house to other buildings for steam or sewer? I think that, yeah, I mean, sewers would be underground. But I think that they do have, so the tunnel thing, I don't believe for a minute that there's drug running tunnels in Moscow. But I'm pretty sure that there was a video out there of, okay, so there's a video out there that are saying that these are like DRUGS, tunnels. But there's a video out there that debunks that. And that video that was shown was edited. And it's actually a guy, it's actually like a fraternity or something. They're on like a campus tour. They're walking from like one end to the other because that's a way that the students used to be able to get to the library or something like that. So, and you can hear it all on the video when they're talking about it. And it's like, it was just very weird because if you watch the whole video in its entirety, it's like, that's not what this is at all. So, I just never really hit on that subject here because, we debunk a lot of stuff, it seems like. Some psychic said Enid was living in an attic in the house. Oh, my Lord. That's crazy. Oh, my. We've heard some good ones though. That's what we need to do. Because I did do the video where, like the people that have been brought up, but we need to write down all of the conspiracies that have come out in this case. Like as we're going through like our timeline, because we're going to start like from the beginning of everything, like with the body cam footage of, Kaylee and then Xana and all of that on our next live on Idaho. So I think that'd be a good idea. Is it true they have heated sidewalks near the university to melt snow in the winter? I don't know that one, but I know that they make heated driveways. I know that they do that because my friend's parents had one and he tried to call fork one time and I busted him out. I'm not sure how loud this is going to be. It doesn't let me control the volume. So I'm going to hit play and then I'm going to pause it really quick because sometimes it'll go back to the beginning. So.
Take your shot at huge wins with DraftKings Sportsbook. You could win big with money line.
Temptations dry cat food. And one
I'm going to refresh the page and start over. I think
take your shot at huge
one cat treats /cat dash
a comeback at PurdueGlobal.edu.
Take your shot at huge wins with
brand has /cat dash burglar.
PurdueGlobal.edu.
We are following breaking news out of North Idaho. The Moscow police.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it for just a second. Thank you guys again for being here. I really, really appreciate it so much. I'm going to go ahead and play this. And like I said, it's not going to be a video, but I'm going to put like overlay pictures. So that way you guys have like a visual of something to look at. I couldn't listen to the end of this. I was about to start crying really bad. So just to let you guys know the ending, it just talks about the victims and stuff. And that stuff gets me emotional. So if you're like me and you get emotional like that, grab a box of tissues because you're going to need them, especially towards the end. And don't forget to hit that like button for me. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you.
Police department says they responded to reports of an unconscious person on King Road around noon today. When they got there, they found 4 people dead inside the home.
The bodies of 3 women and 1 man, all 21 or under, were found together.
The victims were attacked with a large knife.
This is a massacre. There's no other way to say it.
This is The Idaho Massacre, a production of KT Studios and iHeartRadio. Episode 1, Murders on King Road. I'm Courtney Armstrong, a television producer at KT Studios with Stephanie Lydecker, Jeff Shane, and Connor Powell.
Upon further investigation, officials found 4 people dead.
The university sent an alert asking students to stay away from the area and to shelter in place.
The killings, the first murders in the city of Moscow in years, terrified the small, close-knit community. On November 13th, 2022, the normally idyllic college town of Moscow, Idaho, was shaken by the news of a gruesome murder. Just before noon on Sunday morning, a 911 dispatcher received a call from a 6-bedroom house on 1122 King Road. The caller said one of their roommates was unconscious. Emergency personnel rushed to the house. The 3-story rental property was tucked away on a quiet, dead-end street. It was just feet from the University of Idaho's Fraternity Row and its scenic, tree-lined campus. Inside, the house was described as a bloodbath. The next day, blood could be seen seeping through the walls and was visible from the street. The 4 victims were all close friends and students at the University of Idaho. Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, and Xana Kernodle all lived together in the house on King Road. Ethan Chapin was Xana Kernodle's boyfriend and was visiting for the night.
The reality is there's still a person out there who committed 4 horrible, horrible crimes.
Here's Stephanie and Jeff.
I think, like so many people, this case hit us particularly because of the sheer magnitude of violence and tragedy that occurred in this house. You know, you had these 4 young people who were so full of life and had seemingly everything going for them, and it was taken so quickly and so violently that it just, at least for me personally, seems so unimaginable.
Like the whole country, we were absolutely horrified when news broke of this case, and we immediately started digging in. And yes, there was a lot of coverage at the start, but our goal here is hopefully to go a bit deeper into the case. Thankfully, a massacre so large, it's incredibly rare. But whoever did this is essentially a great white shark of murderers. This was such an overkill. The exterior of the house, walls were literally bleeding. What kind of maniac would do this?
We really felt like, as true crime producers, we wanted to focus our attention on the facts and really put everything in one place and make it manageable for people, because there are so many mistruths and headlines out there that aren't necessarily even fact-checked. And so as a team, we really want to dive into this case and explore what's true and what's not.
The University of Idaho is a classic red brick campus nestled in the green rolling hills in the northwestern corner of the state. It is situated in the small, rural, agricultural community of Moscow, Idaho. Before it was a crime scene, the house at 1122 King Road was at the center of university life and home to 5 female roommates. Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, Dylan Mortensen, and Bethany Funk. Just hours before the gruesome killings, 21-year-old senior Kaylee Gonsalves posted a photo to social media showing all of the roommates and Xana's boyfriend Ethan Chapin during happier times.
One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day, she wrote.
When you look at some of the photographs that have been generated on social media or that we've seen on the news, for example, they look so happy. And they literally look as though they're on the cover of a magazine, like a J. Crew ad or a Gap ad.
Kaylee was the blonde 21-year-old senior from Rathdrum, Idaho, who had majored in general studies. She had actually just graduated and was not officially living in the house on King Road, only back to visit for the weekend. She had been a member of Alpha Phi sorority and was a hardworking student. She was actually on the verge of moving to Austin, Texas, where she was going to work at a tech company, and she had just bought this shiny new Range Rover to make the drive. She was in town to show her friends the new car. Kaylee and fellow victim Madison Mogan had grown up together in northern Idaho, and the pair had been inseparable ever since 6th grade. They were more like sisters than friends.
That's what makes this even more unimaginable. Their families said that they spent all of their time together. Imagine that, best friends since 6th grade. And they kind of look like sisters. Madison, who went by the name Maddie, was 21 years old at the time of her death. She was also a marketing major, and they were also in the same sorority. Maddie was known for her hilarious sense of humor. She was extremely bubbly, and she loved the color pink. I'm looking at a photo of her right now, and she's wearing this bright pink dress. She has long blonde hair, slightly wavy, and she is just smiling ear to ear. She also worked as a waitress at the Mad Greek restaurant with her other roommate, victim 20-year-old Xana Kernodle. Xana was also a stunning brunette. She was also very sporty. According to her friends, Xana played volleyball, track, and even soccer in high school. She was a junior at the University of Idaho at the time of her death. They are dear friends. They're sorority girls. They work together. And all three of them, by all accounts, were very close.
Xana was dating 20-year-old Ethan Chapin from Conway, Washington at the time of her death. Ethan was a freshman at the University of Idaho and a triplet who his siblings also went to school at Idaho. And he was very close with them and his fraternity brothers. But really the relationship that mattered to him most was his with Xana. While they were young, they had truly found love. They were spending time together outside of school in the summer with each other's families. And Xana's dad described their relationship as one of deep importance and seriousness. And despite losing their lives at a young age, he said he was happy that Xana and Ethan had found each other and at least were together when they died.
The night of Saturday, November 12th started like most weekend nights for the friends living at 1122 King Road. Xana Kernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin spent the evening partying at the nearby Sigma Chi fraternity house. Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan were seen at the local sports bar. The pair left around 1:30 in the morning, stopping at a local food truck. Surveillance photo and a social media stream from a food truck captured Kaylee, Maddie, and another friend ordering food around 1:40 a.m.
Welcome back.
I think I would like the carbonara.
Okay.
But if I have like a free grub check on my app.
Oh, yep. So what you want to do is we'll actually do this. There you go.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Police determined Maddie and Kaylee arrived home at 1:56 a.m. based on new digital evidence collected by investigators. Ethan and Xana are believed to have arrived just 10 minutes beforehand.
Around 4 in the morning, police say Xana received a food order from DoorDash. A little while later, one of the surviving roommates, Dylan Mortensen, was woken up by a sound. She thought it was Kaylee playing with her dog.
She was on the same floor as two of the victims who were killed, Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin, telling police she was woken by a noise at 4 a.m., hearing Kaylee say something like, "There's someone here."
She peeked outside her door, but didn't see anything.
At 4:12 a.m., Xana, still awake, was scrolling through the social media app TikTok. Just a few minutes later, Dylan told police she once again heard a noise.
She heard crying from Xana's room, followed by a male voice saying, "It's okay. I'm going to help you."
She later opened her door again after hearing crying coming from Xana Kernodle's room. This time, she saw a dark figure standing there.
She opened her door and stood frozen as a man wearing black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her, describing him as 5'10" or taller, not very muscular, but athletically built, with bushy eyebrows.
Terrified, she remained frozen in place as the suspect walked past her and left out the sliding glass door behind her.
Authorities say that roommate was in shock.
After looking through surveillance footage and hearing the surviving victims' statements, investigators say they believe the murders took place between 4 and 4:25 a.m.
8 hours after the killings, police were called to the house on King Road. When they arrived, they found a gruesome scene.
Hey, Donna, can you explain to me what this means? I'm really not sure. I missed this comment. So I just wanted to address it because I'm not sure what you mean. It says, "Hi, Tanya. Sorry, but I have to say this to the chat. Please stick to the facts and stop with all the bull. Does it really make people happy to come on chats and make outlandish claims that are not true?" Are you talking about me or are you talking about someone in the chat? Because I'll get them for you, Donna, if I need to. Just let me know. Make sure you're okay. And thank you guys all for being here. I hope they have some more evidence too, but I think that they do. I don't think that they don't put everything that they have in the PCA because they don't have everything even back at the time. So we're going to be seeing evidence dropping up until trial. I mean, even probably in trial. Just look at Alec Murdaugh case, for instance. I mean, they went to trial and he was saying I wasn't at Moselle. And all of a sudden they got a Snapchat video put into evidence right at trial. And he had to fix his whole story. So very crazy how things just kind of come about. But yeah, I'll make sure I try to stick to looking at the chat as much as I can too. And if you guys want, if you need a question answered, if you want to just put a Q in the chat, like a capitalized Q, and then just put your question after it, and then I'll answer it for you. And yeah, I'll answer it for you. I'll at least pin it so that way I can answer it at the end. And if you guys need me to slow chat or anything, just let me know. I have it a little bit slow, and if it's on slow mode, but that doesn't mean anything for the people that are subscribed. So I'll go ahead and start playing this again.
4 people, all brutally, repeatedly stabbed to death. Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogan were killed in the bed they were sharing on the 3rd floor. Ethan Chapin and Xana Kernodle were found dead in her room. Ethan's throat was sliced. Nearby, his girlfriend Xana Kernodle was found with multiple defensive wounds to her hands and arms. 3 days after the murders, investigators briefed the public.
The results of autopsies indicated that the 4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that, and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement.
According to investigators, there was no sign of forced entry, and there was no murder weapon left at the scene.
We continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders.
However, the killer did leave one key piece of evidence behind.
When inspecting the house for the first time, officers noticed a tan leather knife sheath lying on the bed where Kaylee and Madison were found.
Investigators also said they had ruled out several people.
We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the 2 surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual.
The question remaining, who entered the residence later that night to carry out these grisly murders?
Let's stop here for a break. We'll be back in a moment. Have you heard?
I'm just going to fast forward through this part. If you guys wouldn't mind just taking a second to hit the like button. Here I am. It goes a long way. It really does. And it's free. And if you guys don't mind, subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. This should be a short commercial here. So
Temptations, a kit and caboodle of temptation.
With DraftKings Sports and use code
I'm gonna leave
TIMER.
it there.
New customers can score $150 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5 on anything. That's code TIMER. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Physically present in Ohio. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com DraftKings.com/baseball terms.
Finding suitable mental health medications.
Okay, I have a question for you guys too in the chat. If you guys can let me know if there is a place where I can like purchase the podcast where we don't have to listen to commercials, let me know. Because I got YouTube Premium, but this is Apple Podcast. And I have like Pandora Premium, but I don't have Apple. I don't know what that would be. Like I have Apple phone, but I don't know what I need to download because these commercials get on my nerves half the time. So if you guys know, let me know. And I think this is back to where it needs to be.
Joseph Scott Morgan is a forensic expert at Jackson State University and is a former senior.
I'm just going to pause it here just in case people are coming in that don't know, because I went over this earlier. Joseph Scott Morgan is one of the guys that has a podcast also. He has it's called Body Bags with Joseph Scott Morgan. He's also on podcast with Nancy Grace a lot. He's going to come out and say that Ethan's throat was cut. I don't ever remember hearing that confirmed by anybody. So just take that with a grain of salt. Everything else is like, it matches up perfect. It's just that doesn't match up to me. Also, and this could just be an educated guess that he makes. He says that Xana has defensive wounds on her hands, but her father did say in an interview for an Arizona news agency that she did put up a fight. So he could have just been making maybe an educated guess on that. So I just want to point that out before we go any further.
Investigator for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office in Atlanta, Georgia. He spoke to producer Jeff Shane and Stephanie Lydecker about the crime site and the events of the morning of November 13th.
I think the watchword here is intimacy. These kids that are in the middle of college careers, that are partying, going to Greek parties, or they're preparing for graduation, it's a very protected environment. The thing you've got to worry about the most probably in this location is, are you going to get another parking ticket by the police?
There's also this layer of presumed safety when we're off in college, right? It's this bubble, and it's supposed to be. It's horrifying to know that level of safety isn't real.
You're not thinking, is the apocalypse coming? Am I going to be slaughtered in my bed? Intimacy ends and begins with the perpetrator. He's intimate with them. They don't have an awareness of his intimacy.
But what do you think happened in those 16 minutes when he came into the house?
There's 2 ground levels. So you have a parking pad that's in the rear of the building where you would enter in to the area that many people would say first floor, and I've heard some people say basement. And it's where there's a keypad. And according to everyone that I have heard talk about this to this point, many people knew the code on the keypad. Okay. But I don't think he entered through that location. He entered on what would be referred to as the second ground floor, which is there's kind of a field behind that extending outward away from the home that has kind of a brush line on either side. It's sufficient enough for concealment so that if the house is all ablaze in light, you could stand out there on the second level and stay back in this wooded area and see everything that's going on. It has been stated that second floor entrance is actually this sliding glass door. And of course, the darkness of night, you can stand there and you can watch everything that goes on. If you're not illuminated, if you're not standing under some kind of artificial light outside, and every single movement you can track, looking through that sliding glass door and the other associated windows, you can see when a light comes on upstairs. Now, you can't see anything that's going on that bottom level, but you can see right into the second floor. So once the lights had died down and the perpetrator would have had knowledge that back door, the glass door, was commonly left unlocked, which is an interesting point, I think, because that again goes to an intimacy and a familiarity, doesn't it? So when the perpetrator makes entrance, painting the picture, when you make entrance through that sliding glass door, it's kind of like a great room, if you will, kind of an open, people use the term open floor plan. You've got an area over to the right where I think that, there might be some seating. Over to the left is kind of a dining kitchen area. It'd be a great place to gather if you were having friends over. People could come over. Interior guests could spill out onto the little landing there outside the door.
What else can you tell us about the house?
We know that there were loud parties there because there had been noise complaints in the past. But when you walk in, if you go back to your right as you're walking through that sliding glass door, there's bedrooms down that way. But he bypasses those and proceeds upstairs to the 3rd floor. Well, you've got one bedroom that is occupied, another one that is unoccupied. And the one that is occupied that room is actually occupied the night of the killing by 2 friends. And when I say friends, I mean friends, as close as 2 friends could possibly be. We're talking about 2 young ladies that had actually grown up together. They decided to go to U of I together because of this childhood bond that they had developed. One of the victims was preparing to graduate. As a matter of fact, her stuff was already out of her bedroom. She had come back to visit, and because there was no other place to sleep, they'd been out that night. So when they get back to this home, they're upstairs. And remember, anybody that's in that backyard and they're waiting and they're watching, they could see movement of 2 people, perhaps these 2 young ladies, as they went past the sliding glass doors and then went up. Maybe there was a light that went on upstairs. And when the light finally went out upstairs, perhaps that's the moment in time when you know to move. You've been thinking about this. You've been planning it. You're very excited about the opportunity that you're going to have to wreak havoc.
For any friends or family connected to the victims, the following will be difficult to hear.
You make the entrance through the house and you walk down the hall, you turn, you go up the staircase, and there they are before you. They're laying in bed. Now, was there an awareness that he had entered the room? Was there a scream, shout, or anything like that? It's hard to tell right now at this point, but it would appear that they were essentially killed where they were laying in that bed. They didn't move out of the bed. And this would have been a vicious attack. And even with alcohol in their systems, they're not blind drunk. There would have been knowledge on their part and awareness that there was an attack underway. And it's not just any kind of attack. It's not like someone's being shot. You're talking about a milled edge weapon that's made for combat, and it's being driven multiple times into each one of their bodies. There would have been screams. There would have been discomfort. There would have been cries, and there would have been blood. That bed itself, the walls around it, probably would have been awash in blood. There would potentially have been so much blood it would have soaked through the mattress and dripped through on the surface below, depended upon where they're stabbed and how many times they were stabbed.
What about the killer?
The perpetrator, the person that did this, would have been effused with blood as well. They would have had blood certainly on their upper body, contact points on their hands, front and the back, palmar aspects. Just imagine a traditional sewing machine needle going up and down like this, and every time the knife is drawn away, the surface of this blade is covered in blood. It's going to be cast onto that person, perhaps, not to mention the adjacent surfaces, whether it's the ceiling or the walls, because it's dynamic. It's not like you're driving this knife into an inanimate object. These are living, breathing human beings that are reacting to pain. So they're going to be turning and twisting and jostling and trying to get away from the pain because their pain centers are alerted. That's what happens with stab wounds. People can be shot and literally not be aware that they're shot. People are aware when they're stabbed or they're cut. And so it's a reactive kind of thing like this that's going on. And it's not just once or twice, it's multiple times. That's why I believe that area is going to be super saturated in blood. There's going to be a tremendous amount of trace evidence that's up there, blood evidence that's left behind. And then in this frenzy, for whatever reason, the sheath is left behind. So it's unknown in this period of time what the perpetrator does in this environment. Does this subject linger over the bodies? Or is it containment and I'm leaving? It would seem containment and leaving, but there's a problem. When he begins to exfil out of the house to leave, to most probably exit the same way in which he came in, he meets up with a young man that is with his girlfriend in her bedroom downstairs, meets this young man at the door. He's a tall young man. And according to reports, when he meets up with this perpetrator, the perpetrator cuts his throat. You got to think about that just for a second. This edged weapon is driven across the anterior aspect of his neck, and his throat is cut right there. Again, blood. So if you take that biological element and commingle it with the two victims upstairs, and now you've gone into another bedroom on the second floor, and you've killed first this young man who's found dead apparently in the doorway. They were alerted somehow. They were up. We know that the young lady that was in there was actually on her phone on TikTok. After this young man was killed, the perpetrator went into the bedroom.
Joseph Morgan is referring to Xana Kernodle and Ethan Chapin.
And this young lady that he killed in there, after he just killed her boyfriend, she certainly had an awareness. And you know how I know? She fought back. It stated that she had sustained sharp force injuries to her hands, multiple, and to her arms. As a matter of fact, the injuries on her hands were so deep that they cut the tendons on her hands. That's an indication that she's grabbing the blade, and that the blade is actually, as she grabs the blade, she's trying to fend it off. And as she grabs the blade is being drugged through her hand. In order to generate this kind of injury after, if what we believe sequencing is right, after stabbing so many times, I think everybody can understand knives get dull, right? So you're talking about butchering 3 other adults. And by the time you get to the 4th adult, the knife still has enough of an edge on it that it's going to cut through the hand, which the texture of our hands it's rough. There's a reason they sell us hand lotion, right? To soften our hands. Our hands are rough. And not just cut the surface of the hands, but to cut down to structural elements within the hand, to cut through them, to slice through them. This knife was very, very sharp and had been prepared probably for this specific intention. I don't know. Maybe the person had taken it and maybe they had a grinding stone. Maybe they took it to someplace to have it sharpened, or maybe they just sat alone in their apartment somewhere and used a whetstone and just sharpened it over and over and over again until they felt like it had enough of a sufficient edge. After that is perpetrated, it's my belief that the perpetrator exits the same way that they came in. Now, did they have to reopen the door? That's key, because what did we talk about? This individual would have been covered in blood. And if that's the case, did they put their hand on the handle of the door to pull it aside in order to exit out of the house? Or did they leave it open, knowing that that's the position that they were going to exit from? That way, you don't have to touch any other surfaces. Would this individual have been thinking that many moves ahead? Or did they run the risk of, after they had all of the blood on them, did they pull it aside? Were they wearing gloves? Well, if they were wearing gloves, where are these blood saturated gloves? Where are these clothes? What happened to them? Were they thrown away in the trash?
Here's Stephanie.
I think it's just important to know, which is why the reason that it's so important that we have you talk to us about this particular case is really because there's so much crossover, in my opinion, between this case and the Piketon massacre, specifically the overkill, the idea of ordinary people who just look like a neighbor who has opportunity somehow actually is the boogeyman. Are there any other similarities, in your opinion?
Here again, Joseph Scott Morgan.
I worked in the morgue for many, many years, a long time. I've seen more blood than most people can imagine. And I have finished my day up in a morgue and I've been covered in blood. And that's under a very controlled, non-pressure situation, using the correct tools, mind you. How much more so with somebody that has never been, to the best of my knowledge, around this kind of gore, this level of violence? How are they going to get out of this environment and not be covered in blood? I wouldn't think that they would have the same level of skill, certainly as a surgeon, and certainly not somebody that works in my field in forensics, working in the morgue, where all we do is dissections day in and day out. I can't imagine that they could escape that scene without having blood from just covering certainly the anterior aspect of their body.
This morning, students on edge at the University of Idaho.
The news of the murders sent shockwaves through the community. In the immediate days after the discovery of the 4 bodies, authorities issued multiple conflicting statements about whether or not there was a continued threat to the public.
An alert was sent to U of I telling students to stay away from the area and to shelter in place, and it has since been lifted.
They insist there is no wider threat to the public Yet there have still been no arrests.
Police investigating the mysterious murders of 4 Idaho college students now say the threat to the community may not be over.
The reality is there's still a person out there who committed 4 horrible, horrible crimes.
I felt like a lot of the residents, some of them were concerned, but a lot of the students left and they didn't come back. They decided to take their classes remotely and they went home before Thanksgiving break. You know, people were on edge. It really scared a lot of people, wondering who on earth would do something like this and why.
That is Anjanette Levy. Anjanette is a reporter with the Law and Crime Network. She was on the ground in Moscow after the murders and spoke to producer Jeff Shane.
You were in Moscow following the murders. What was it like?
When you go to Moscow, Idaho, it's just this quiet college town. Not much happens there. The police department is tasked basically with keeping college kids safe, making sure they're not doing anything too crazy while they're drinking. And it just kind of shatters this sense of security that people living there had, especially among the college students. So many of them, even when I went there, were staying in their dorms and what have you to finish their classes remotely, because that's one of the things the university did, was offer the kids remote classes so they wouldn't have to go out and about while this was ongoing. So I think it put a lot of pressure on the Moscow Police Department. They brought in the Idaho State Police. They brought in the FBI to assist. This was too big for them. And, you know, to their credit, they realized that. But it would be too big for a lot of departments, even departments that are used to handling homicide investigations. You have 4 kids. That's 4 cell phones. That's 4 distinct crime scenes within one home and video from all over to analyze. So this was a big task.
How quickly do you think that they realize when you see a crime scene of this magnitude, this is a big deal? Does that happen immediately, you think?
Oh, I think they knew that walking into it. I think the minute they saw the amount of blood in the house, and everything we had heard was that there was a tremendous amount of blood in this home. We're talking about one of the victims, Xana Kernodle. Her father told a news outlet in Arizona that she fought. So she fought her attacker. There were defensive wounds. We're talking about people being stabbed in different parts of their torsos and other locations. That's a lot of blood. And plus they laid there for hours until someone was called, until 911 was called. So that's a lot of time for someone to lay there and basically bleed out.
But the gruesome details of the murder and the confused messages from public officials only stoked concerns.
These posts on the university's Facebook page. Why is there not a huge manhunt going on? And killer still at large. How can you reassure us the kids are safe?
The school posting this notice on social media Monday, writing increased security will be on site for the remainder of the semester.
The search for a killer now in its 3rd week. Police say they still have no suspect or murder weapon in the deaths of 4 Idaho college students.
Let's stop here for another break. Have you heard? Temptations, America's #1 cat treats brand, has expanded into mealtime with their all-new Temptations dry cat food.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna have to get my cat that cat food. I've been hearing this commercial all day, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward through this commercial here, and then it's gonna be on the last end of the podcast. Let me see if I can take this picture down and turn my camera on for a minute. That way you guys can see me. So you're like, who is that person talking behind that picture? Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I just wanted to tell you guys, I really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of places you could be on a Saturday, but you're here. So we're going to, this is the last ending of the podcast. Get the tissues ready. I watched it earlier. It was like 30 minutes. I think I stopped watching it like 30 minutes before the live, and I had to pause it because I knew I was going to start like getting really upset. So it's just, I'm a big baby, I guess. So I wanted to warn you guys, it does get a little sad. And if you guys wouldn't mind just taking a second to hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, we would love to have you. And we are going to be doing a members only live tomorrow at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The food is so irresistible that it treats.com/cat-burglar. That's temptation
genetic test that analyzes variations in DNA. It shows how genes may affect someone's metabolism or response to medications commonly prescribed to treat depression,
Fast forward it,
anxiety,
so it'll
and
probably cut
other
off
mental
the
health conditions. Visit
podcast.
GeneSight.com for more information.
Looking for a fabulous fashion brand that celebrates you? Then look no further than Boston Proper, where styles are designed with you in mind, so you can look and feel amazing.
The golf clubs that they took from 1122 that they put in the back of the moving truck, I believe those ones were girls' clubs. I think that you could, I think we looked at the picture and you could see like pink on where the stand is, like when, you put the two legs down for that to stand. There was like a pink or something in there. So I believe that those might have been one of the girls' sets of clubs.
Amazing, no matter the day, season, or occasion. At bostonproper.com, you'll find fashion that knows you best. For over 30 years, Boston Proper has been the fashion destination for confident women who want to elevate their look with unique, sophisticated clothing at affordable prices. Visit bostonproper.com today. Boston Proper. Wear it like no one else.
Go to Poppy and Ari. That's my store. It's better. Better. Okay.
As investigators cataloged hundreds of pieces of evidence and sorted through thousands of tips, the University of Idaho held vigils and a memorial service to remember Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan.
Well, hundreds gathered today in Post Falls for a memorial service for Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan.
The world is a darker place without them, but the light of their love and memories will always guide us all.
Anyone who knew Kaylee would tell you the same thing. To know her was to love her. Her love for life and everyone in it was so inspiring. She made it a priority to make everyone feel so important and so loved, which is such a very rare and beautiful trait.
There was never a day that she didn't want to race her brother because she was just determined that girls were faster than boys, or that she didn't want to go bug her little sisters and make sure they knew that she was older and they were the little sisters. Kaylee is a huge part of our family. The dynamics of our family will never be the same.
Maddie has truly been a blessing in our lives. Watching her grow and mature into the amazing woman she become is truly priceless in our hearts. She was the world to us. Favorite memory for me was watching the game with her, and every time the Steelers scored, I'd pick her up and I'd hold her high in the air and we'd celebrate together. And she'd always just laugh so hard at that. We'd just crack up and have a great time.
Xana, you will not be forgotten. You have impacted so many lives and have given people so much love. I hope I can make you proud and try to leave an impact on this world and on people like you did.
If you knew Ethan, he was never angry about anything. He would never get upset. He had such an infectious smile and a charismatic personality.
Nearly 3 weeks after the murders, we still do not have a suspect profile at this time.
For 24 days, the investigation seemed to be making little progress. Family and media publicly criticized investigators.
I do not feel confident, and that's why I hate to be that guy. But everybody has a job and a role to play in this. This is my role as a parent.
Then, on December 7th, police announced a break in the investigation.
Breaking news in the investigation into the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students.
Just within the last hour, Moscow police have released the first potentially significant information regarding evidence connected in this case.
Detectives announced just minutes ago that they are interested in talking to the person or people in a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra.
Moscow police said a white Elantra car was seen near the home on King Road during the
What did she call it? I'm dying. I'm sorry. I went from my eyes watering to laughing. Did she call it an Electra? And how do you get one of those? What's an Electra? Oh my God. I didn't hear that part earlier. Oh, thank you, Jan. She said also for doggy treats. Oh, they're gonna be happy too. I'm literally at Target every other day buying cat or dog treats for these animals because they go through them so fast. But she said an Electra, so I just wanted to kind of laugh about that, just in case anybody was feeling a little sad like I was. That made me giggle. An Electra.
Early hours of November 13th.
Moscow police say the person or people in that car may have critical information regarding the case.
But behind the scenes, the investigation.
I do not feel confident, and that's why I hate to be that guy. But everybody has a job and a role to play in this. This is my role as a parent.
Then, on December 7th, police announced a break in the investigation.
Breaking news in the investigation into the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students.
Just within the last hour, Moscow police have released the first potentially significant information regarding evidence connected in this case.
Detectives announced just minutes ago that they are interested in talking to the person or people in a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Electra.
Moscow police said a white Elantra car was seen near the home on King Road during the early hours of November 13th.
Moscow police say the person or people in that car may have critical information regarding the case.
But behind the scenes, the investigation had discovered other potentially important evidence. This included a single piece of male DNA. It was found on the button snap of the tan knife sheath found on the bed where Kaylee and Madison were killed. Though they didn't announce it publicly, police were on the brink of an arrest.
We have breaking news in the murders of 4 Idaho college students. 48 days after those gruesome murders, authorities making an arrest.
In the early morning hours of Friday, December 30th, approximately 50 officers and FBI agents stormed a single-family home in the foothills of the Pocono Mountains.
In conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Police, Federal Bureau of Investigation, detectives arrested 28-year-old Brian Christopher Kohlberger in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, on a warrant for murders of Ethan, Zana, Madison, and Kaylee.
This morning, authorities putting a face to the fear.
According to police, Kohlberger's home in Pennsylvania had been under surveillance for days. In the driveway, a white Hyundai Elantra, exactly like the one investigators had been looking for.
Police linked Kohlberger to the crime in part through DNA technology and tracked through his car.
Brian Kohlberger grew up in Pennsylvania and dreamt of being a police officer.
In a chilling twist, police say the alleged killer studies criminology at Washington State University in Pullman.
In the fall of 2022, Kohlberger began a PhD program in Pullman, Washington. This was just 8 miles from the home on King Road where Madison, Kaylee, Zana, and Ethan were murdered.
He's being very calm. He's very aware. He understands the proceedings.
Kohlberger indicated to his Pennsylvania attorney, Monroe County Public Defender Jason Lebar, that he was innocent.
Brian was very shocked by his arrest, did not know why they were there, but Brian indicated to me that he was eager to be exonerated.
Some of those who know Brian Kohlberger were shocked at the arrest. Others weren't surprised.
But she said to me, "Did you hear about Brian?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." She said, "Turn on the news." And then I was like, oh my God. But with that said, I was shocked, but it made sense.
More on that next time. For more information on the case and relevant photos, follow us on Instagram at KT_studios.
I'm going to go back on that podcast and see. What is this? I'm just going to. Okay, I don't know what that is. That might be like the next one that they're going to do. I was trying to see like the next episode. Oh, I guess there's like bonus content. That's what she was talking about. Okay, because I don't know if you guys heard her say, let me take the banner down here, or the pictures and the I don't know if you heard her say something about the Piketon massacre in there, but I guess she followed that case, and that case is like that happened. There was 8 people out of a family that were killed in one night from another family, took out another family, kind of like the Hatfield and McCoys. I have a playlist over it. I think it's under the Piketon Massacre, but it's like 25 minutes outside of where I grew up. This happened like in 2016, I think, but she mentioned it. So that's pretty interesting. So let me go ahead and throw some stuff into the chat really quick. Well, the first poll I did let me start over. Do you guys think that the point of exit and entry was the slider door? And at the time, the people that were in here, 96% said that you guys did think that it was the slider door. The new poll that I just did the opposite. Do you think the front door could be the point of entry and exit? And we have 35% that said yes and 65% that said no that time. So I guess it just depends on what time in the chat or what time you're here. Let me stop sharing that. That way it's all off there. There we go. If anyone has any questions, I can answer some questions though. Let me see if I have anything. Oh, so did you guys have a theory on what you guys thought happened prior to the PCA coming out? Do you guys remember like that far back? Like prior to them having a suspect? Because I do. I remember mine. Mine was a little different. It was it's front door. I don't know. I'm on that front door. I'm on that front door stuff. But other than the front door, I just had it like different. So the name of my boutique is called Poppy and Ari, and I'll put it in the chat there for you. It's super little, cute little boutique. You have to take a check. You have to check it out. And if you use the code YouTube, all capitalized 20, you'll get 20% off. It's a really good deal. And I love packaging stuff up at the boutique on the boutique side. We're actually getting ready to get a new apartment. They're like they're gonna like gut this place out and redo it. So we're going to stay here for a long time. But I told him, I'm like, no, don't touch this wall. You remember yours and you still think the same thing? So Joe, I thought in the beginning, and I don't think this way really now, but something just still tugs at me. I don't know. And maybe I just need to sit down and really, really, really think about it for a minute. But when we started covering Idaho 4 on November the 16th, I believe it was, because I didn't see any videos on the 13th, which I don't think that anyone really knew about it the first couple of days. Over here, it wasn't as big as it got. I mean, it got big quick, but we were on it pretty much like the first day, which I didn't realize that I was in this room and everything. Like when this case started, I thought, I've had a few different spots where I've sat in this place. So I thought I was in a different area even, but I went back and I was listening to it and I thought that Brian Kohlberger entered through the front door, or I didn't think Brian Kohlberger. Okay. Cause I didn't know who Brian Kohlberger was at the time. The suspect, whoever did this, I thought that the person came through entered through the front door. And this was when we thought that Dylan was on the first floor with Bethany. And I thought that he went up to the second floor. I thought he skipped like the first floor bedrooms altogether, went up to the second floor, unalived Ethan and Xana first, and then went up to the third floor. And then I thought I thought he came back down and exited out the front door again. So, but now it's changed. So I have I have a video over like what I think happened now, but it is it's a lot different. But we also didn't know where any of the people were located at that time either. We thought that, Dylan and Bethany were on the first floor. We thought the second floor would just had Xana's bedroom. And then the third floor was Kaylee and Maddie's. Oh, and speaking of which, I did find the picture of the bed in the bedroom, but it's not at night, so you can't really see it. But you could see the boxes in there from where they were like starting to pack her stuff up. Let me see. Like, because like, you know, they're moving stuff, the cops were. But there's a picture of this at night, and it's in my bookmark somewhere. I just couldn't find it off the top, but trying to, I don't know if I can zoom in anymore. There we go. But you can see it. There we go. It's just easier to see it on the picture when it's night. But I forget who asked me. Maybe I starred it. I didn't. Oh, yeah, no, I did. Trees. And this is what I think. I'm going to put this back up. I've said this 100 times, but I've heard other creators talking about this, and I'm like, huh, you think so too now? So, oops, I put that in wrong. So there was a Walmart receipt found at our boy's house, Brian Kohlberger's Walmart receipt and a Dickies tag. And I just pulled up Dickie's site, but this is what I think he had on, something like this. Look at that guy. He looks like Santa. He looks like a handsome Santa. But I think this is what he had on. I don't know why. If there's no, biologicals, I think it would keep a lot of it off of you. But I would like to know if he's that smart. I want to know how smart he is. I want to know if he's like, I don't know. I don't know. How smart is he? Is he not smart enough to wear that? Or are we going to say he's not smart enough to wear that and he wore his regular clothes? Do we know the date of that receipt? I don't know the date of it. That's a good question, though. Walmart will get you every time. Jan said they will. They'll get you every time. They got the best cameras. But I think maybe he ordered it online or something. I don't know. Yeah, they come in black at Walmart. Yeah. We looked him up under the Walmart tab before too, so. Yeah, and also Dumb Blonde. I think that when he made this statement that he didn't have to go upstairs, I think it's because one of the targets, I think that the target was upstairs. I still think that one of the girls were the target. And I think that in Steve's mind, he thinks, well, if Kaylee and Maddie were not a target, then there was no reason for him to go up the stairs and bother them. They were sleeping, like that's what I think he thinks when he said that. I think he thought, they were in bed asleep. If they weren't targeted, then he wouldn't have had to go up the stairs. Does that make sense? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what his dad does. I forget. Yeah, I think he has something covering him. I know Patty Cute. That's what I was going to say. He does kind of look like the prosecutor, but this guy's like a little handsome. Just a little handsomer. He's a cute looking guy. I just wanted to show you that. That's pretty funny. And then I'll put this back on here in case Therese didn't get to see it. But, Vincent just came in with the dogs. I just heard him. I heard the door. Our door squeaks when you open it, our front door. And we can put like WD-40 on it or whatever, but I don't want it because it's like, we have a long hallway, like when you walk in our door. And so when I hear that little like squeak, it gives me a minute to react. You know what I mean? Like if it were somebody like crazy coming to my house, I'd have like a second because I know immediately when it's Vincent, except for sometimes he's really stinking quiet and he scares me. But Nancy's been scaring me, so it's cool. Nancy, she's been scaring me. Jack's making you dizzy. You think he was the school custodian? I can't remember. His father does do maintenance at the school? Oh. They do wear that kind of stuff. Do you think he could be that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's going to school for it. I would just think. I hope you move Nancy yourself. I made Vincent move her. Nancy would startle me every time I walk by. I mean, she does. She does. She really does. When she was like over here the other night when I was on Brittany's channel, allegedly with Brittany, I was sitting in this blue chair. I like pulled the blue chair up here and I had like my little desk that goes down, like it's adjustable. And I was just like being comfortable. And I went to run to the restroom really quick, like during the live, and I jumped around the chair I shouldn't be jumping around a chair like that anyway at my age, but I did. And Nancy was standing there and I was like, holy shit. I was like, Nancy. I yelled at her. I should do a TikTok on me yelling at Nancy. Just kidding. She's Nancy 2024, guys. If Nancy was the president, everybody would be terrified of her. I think that we need to get her on the ballot. Oh, and Steve, I asked Vincent about the music, and he's going to let me know tomorrow. He's going to look into it, figure it out for me with what the best way to send it. Thank you so much for doing that. Steve made us a song. It's going to be so good. My floor is like yours, Laura. I love this floor. They're going to take it out too. I'm sad about that. I hate carpet. I really hate that idea. But you know, it might be better because the sound. I mean, I don't know. My sound's good. I've got a great mic, but I love my floors. Vincent just put those in for me. They're not even like a year old, I think. But they're gonna do like carpet, and then they'll do like hardwood floors, I think, in the living room now, which is I'm cool with that. Like I'm fine with that. Vincent signed the lease, so we're here for a while anyway again. But we love it here. I mean, apparently we're here. We have like a pool and a gym, and we have like a beautiful outdoor eating area that has like fire pits and a tennis court and a dog park all in our apartment. Like you can't really beat it, you know? You really don't even need to leave the neighborhood if you don't want to. Nancy's like a mannequin. We could change her blazer. We could. I could put another little shirt on her. I just said I love Nancy. I do too. And Nancy, we trust. Brooklyn. She's crazy. She would make sure. Also, his dad did heating and air conditioning. I wonder if that's why they brought the heating and air conditioning people in. You know? I'm just looking through the chat. Ooh, yes, I have. I wonder if that could be what it. I think I said that actually too. I might have said that on the live. Like maybe he's allergic to the powder and the latex or something. You know, like some doctors, they have to have like powder free. They can't do powder. It'll break their hands out because his hands were totally purpley looking. And I don't think that's lack of circulation. I have circulation problems. I used to have it in my legs. And like when my legs would get cold, they'd almost like look purpley, you know, but not like that. That was out of control. His hands were either washing with something but they didn't look chafed. Like, you know what I mean? Like if it was like a burn, like you're right. It might be more of like a glove. Nancy would be tough on crime. She would be. Put Ann Taylor's shirt on Nancy. She'll come after me. She'll be at my house. She'll be like, hold on a second. I hope she does come though. I've tagged her on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. So if you guys wouldn't mind going over to my YouTube shorts and just check out the video, comment on that video so it'll get sent out into the algorithm. So maybe Nancy will see it and she'll want to come on the show, you know? Because I'm not paying her either. So sorry, Nancy. We don't pay around here. What was I going to do? Oh, I was going to show you guys or give you guys something to watch if you wanted to. If you wanted something to watch. I did do a video today. Yeah, I'm just going to, it's only 9 minutes. So if you guys have time and you want to watch some more true crime with me, I'm going to paste it in there for you guys to watch that. Oh, if Nancy was the judge in this case, oh my gosh, Isabel, I'd be so scared. I love her, but I'm terrified of her at the same time. I think if she was sitting here interviewing me, I'd probably be like sweating profusely. No, I think Nancy is probably a sweetheart. She's just, you know, she's tough. She's tough. She's no nonsense. She says, get on in here. We're not having IT at Windsor Castle. I want a coffee cup that says that. I want a t-shirt that says that. I want a hat that says that. I'm going to get all that. I don't know if she's changed her mind. I think she's kind of, I don't know. They haven't really been going too hard on Kohlberger. I think it's because a lot of people were going kind of hard on Kohlberger. But I mean, you know, if you don't think Brian did it, I would love to know who did. Because I mean, if there's a mass, mass unaliver out there, then the people of Moscow need to know that, and they need to be protecting themselves. And I mean, I just don't see that the cops have it wrong. I think that they did a pretty good job. And I actually found some. I'm trying to go back to find when the booties came in, who wore the booties in the house for the first time, if people went into the house without booties. And I'm on the 17th of November and they're in booties. So I'm trying to go backwards a little bit of time. So if you have any other pictures, let me know. Send them to my email at titaniumbuiltboo@gmail.com. Because what we're going to do on our next set of lives on Idaho is we're going to I want to go back to day one, no PCA, none of that. Just looking at the video, looking at the body cam, going through what we thought in the beginning, and just kind of like, seeing what we know now based on what we knew then. And I'll go through like the chat and stuff and like in the comments. Maybe I can go through like my old comments or something from back then. That'll be kind of funny. Because, I was like, what am I going to do with this? This is the PCA. But I want to thank you guys all for being here tonight. I really appreciate it so much. Don't forget to come back. Your girl loves a party. Who was it? Someone last night was like, fill Tanya's chat, keep her motivated. I think it was CEO. It was legendary. He's probably not in here now, but it was pretty funny. So he does that. Me, myself, and I said, I commend the cops. They did a great job. Trial will show all the evidence. They haven't showed all what they have. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and they don't even have it all back yet, so I think that they did a good job. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Go have fun out there in the world of YouTube. I know that Brittany's doing a part 4 or 5 to the Chris Watts case. So it might be pretty good. She usually goes on around 10 something too. So I will see you guys all on the next live though. You have a great weekend. If I don't see you, we are going to do a members only live tomorrow, and it's going to be for all channel members. So normally it's for Titan tier 1 or higher, but this is going to be for Titan emoji, Titan tier 1, Titan tier 2, all the tiers. So I'll see you guys tomorrow on the live. Bye guys.